This is module number 3 of the PCS Hazard Communications Training, November 2013. At the end of the last module, we introduced revised hazard communication standard. Now we want to look at the compliance requirements and those responsible parties. First bullet is the employee training, which you are participating in at this point in time. And as you can see in looking at the various compliance dates for the subsequent activities, which are 1.5, 2, and 2.5 years from now, there's a significant time gap between this mandatory training and the date when full compliance by all responsible parties is required. The reason this training is being required now is because OSHA is following a global system which is already implemented in many countries across the world. Therefore, we will start to see new labels and new safety data sheets, and we need to be able to understand them. OSHA has also indicated that during this transition period, which is from now to June of 2016, we must either comply with the new standard or the current standard or both. And PCS will endeavor to meet both standards to the extent possible, given the fact that we're going to get limited information from material suppliers on hazard chemicals until the actual full compliance date is in effect. The new standard has components for hazard classifications and categories, and the term hazard classification is used to indicate that only the intrinsic hazardous properties of chemicals are considered. And the classification takes into account 3 steps, which I'm showing here, and realizing that as an end user of hazardous chemicals, PCS does not perform this task of classifying, nor are we required to determine the accuracy of the information we obtain from suppliers and subcontractors. Chemicals that are deemed to be hazardous are typically either a health hazard or a physical hazard, or both. Health hazards then are categorized into subclassifications depending on whether or not they are carcinogen, an aspirant, an irritant, are corrosive, toxic, or sensitizers, and further toxic chemicals can have a specific target organ such as liver, kidney, lungs, nervous system, blood, reproductive system, and eyes. The criteria for defining and determining hazards are found in the appendices A and B of the standard. Here is a table of a hazard class with various categories. This is a class, acute toxicity, and the exposure types or routes can be either oral, dermal through the skin, inhaled, whether they be gases, vapors, or dusts and mists. And the thing to note here is that category 1 is the most severe in that it takes the least amount of the chemical to cause the acute toxicity. This table shows the existing and the new rating system for hazard class. Note that the severity ratings on the old NFP or the current NFP description go from 0 to 4, with 4 being the highest standard. The new standard goes from 1 to 4, with 1 being the highest standard. So this is going to pose challenges until the standard is fully implemented, and we need to be cognizant of the difference depending on which rating system is being used, the current system or the new system. Now note that this is similar to the previous slide, with number 1 being the most severe. Incidentally, chemicals that are in the 1, 2, and 3 class numbers are considered pyrophorics because they will ignite spontaneously in air at temperatures of 130 degrees Fahrenheit or below. This is the end of module number 3.